So I wanted to follow up on the video I posted a day or two ago about the trigger work that I did to my Omega pistols, and kind of with this one what I said is I kind of threw the Cajun Gun Works Pro kit in it and left it, and you know, made a huge difference in the trigger. It felt great, but it still wasn't nearly as smooth as my metal frame CZ75B Omega that had more rounds through it. And so I was like, well, these things are easy to take apart and put together, so why the hell don't I just take it apart and clean everything up in there? So that's what I've done today, and I wanted to post that video for like the 3 of you that may watch it, to get an idea of easy ways to make these Omega trigger systems feel a lot smoother. So pretty much a lot of the internals in these are going to be, my guess would be metal injection molded or cast, probably metal injection molded, but you can see I ran a stone over it right there, and you can see all the shiny areas where the high spots were. Same thing on this side, just run a nice, you know, fine ceramic stone over it, and it'll take off the high points. And this, you know, pivots in there like that, and it's got things on both sides of it that it rubs up against. So taking those high spots down will smooth everything up. Did some more work on the sear. You can see, so this little black blotch right here, that kind of gives you an idea of how uneven some of these surfaces are after they come out of the injection molding or casting process. But really the sear that engages with the Omega hammer from CZ Gun Works, the part of it that engages is below this. So I just made sure that I got a nice even finish on that sear face all the way across it with my ceramic stone. Also, another thing that I think will help out the double action in this is actually if you knock down the high points on the bottom side of this sear, because as this hammer rotates back like this, it's actually rubbing on the bottom side of that hammer right there, and then, you know, locking right there on that. So another thing, knock down the high spots on that guy. These pieces right here, this is the disconnector, and this is like the sear actuator. These are from Cajun Gun Works. Also this roller, these are nice and slick, and I don't need to do anything with those. But, you know, you can kind of see some of the scratch marks and wear marks from where the other components with rougher edges were rubbing up against them. The hammer here, this is the Cajun Gun Works hammer, but you can see I ran my stone over it, and there actually was some high spots kind of right here around the edge. Not bad at all, but just, you know, a little something that can be knocked down. And then also on the trigger bar here, this little shiny surface right here during the double action trigger pull is what rides on this roller. So I smoothed that out. The machining on it was really rough. And then also I knocked down the high spots on the outside of the trigger bar where it rubs inside the frame there, especially on this end where it's rubbing up against the metal locking block. That'll really help it get smoothed out. My trigger, oh no, my spring fell out. There's your trigger bar spring. Anyways, and then another thing that will help out this double action and single action is this safety block right here. I knocked down the high spots on that. You can see all the shiny areas were high spots, and kind of polished that up a little bit. And that actually runs on the top of this sear actuator right here. But again, this is a nice new part from Cajun Gun Works. It has a really great finish on it, so I'm not going to touch that. So anyways, I just wanted to show kind of like, get inside there, look for these things, look for high spots, kind of, you know, get an idea of how things are rubbing and moving past each other, and you can really make an improvement just with some, with a fine ceramic stone. Just got this thing back together and lubed up, and wow, what a difference that made in the double action. It's so much smoother, and I actually put it on the trigger pull gauge, and similar to the CZ75, it's about 9 pounds now. It's actually registering on the gauge before it was maxing out the gauge. Single action, the take up feels a lot smoother. I can't necessarily feel the bump from that firing pin block up here. So crispy. So let's see if we affected single action trigger pull weight at all like we did with the double. 4 1/4. 4 1/4. So no, not really. I think we were right around 4 1/2, 4 1/4 when I checked the single action last too. But mainly I made a big difference in the double action. It feels a lot smoother, no grittiness, no staginess. Single action still feels really, really good. So anyways, quick, easy things to get inside the frame on these guys and clean up that especially make a big difference in the double action pull and the smoothness of the trigger in general.